In this video, we're going to be working with more shapes. Right? So I'm going to go to Illustrator. I'm going to open my Illustrator. Immediately, I press Control key and the N key to create a blank new document. See, up here it says new document. Over here on my right, I make sure that I select inches. There are other measuring units. I prefer inches. All right, so the artboard dimensions are going to be 10 inches wide by 10 inches tall. So I'm going to enter 10 right there. And I press the tab key twice to get to this other field. 1, 2, and I'm going to enter another 10. So my artboard is going to be 10 inches wide by 10 inches tall, right here. Then I either click on Create or press the Enter key. And here we have it. Okay. I'm going to press Control and the 0 key to get a better view of my artboard. Some people call this canvas. Some people call it a sheet. But the official name given by Adobe, it's artboard. Right? I'm gonna press the Z key to get my zoom tool going. I'm gonna press my Alt key just to zoom out a little bit. Right? There we go. All right. So now I'm going to get my rectangle tool for my tools panel. I want to use my rounded rectangle tool. What it does is going to make a rectangle with rounded corners. Okay? So I'm going to click anywhere, click, hold, and drag. Notice how my corners are well too rounded. So I'm going to tap my down arrow key until I get something like that. Okay, notice that this is done while my mouse is still down. Okay, something about right there. All right, so this is one way to start this, but I only want the top 2 corners. Let me see if I can retrace this one. The bottom 2 corners, I want to make them straight. So I select this little thingy here and I make it. Oh, but all of them are changing the curvature. I just want the top 2 with the round corner. Well, okay, we're gonna do it like this. Now I'm gonna fill the object with this orange. Okay. Now I want to make the bottom corners corner, not rounded. Okay, so I'm gonna select my. I can do it with the same tool, but I'm gonna select this tool. It's a regular rectangle. Okay, so I'm gonna make a rectangle somewhere around there. See, covering the rounded corners at the bottom. See? Right there. Just the curvature from here up, not to cover too much, only the curvature. Oh, right there is fine. All right, so now I'm gonna select the two objects. Oops. Control Z to bring it back. The two, excuse me, the two objects, like that. And see how the two objects are selected? Now I'm going to go to the window menu and select the Pathfinder panel. In here, I'm gonna click on this. It's called minus front. All right. To do this properly, this one needs to be on top. It's on top of this other one. All right. So if it's not like that, it's not gonna work. Right. So I'm gonna click on this button. It's called minus front, and that's what we want. All right. We can do this differently. All right. I'm gonna move this out of the way, and I'm gonna select the regular rectangle tool. I'm gonna make a rectangle more or less like the one I just moved out. Okay, look. Remember, I just want the two top corners to be rounded. Okay, so with this tool, it's called the direct selection tool. I make a marquee selecting only the two top corners, just like that. Okay. I'm gonna demonstrate how you do this because you can't see how it is. Imagine that I'm clicking right there at the corner, and I'm gonna demonstrate with a rectangle. Okay, so you're gonna go like this. See, you're covering the two corners at the top. All right, but that's done with this tool. All right, so I'm gonna click right there, drag it down a little, and drag it all the way to the right. Now I have these two anchors at the corners, the two top corners, selected. See how these are in blue? These are white. This means that only the ones in blue are going to be modified. So I come in here, the little widget. In fact, it's called corner widget. So I click, hold it, and drag it inwardly. Something like this. Okay. Remember that the more you drag inwardly, the more rounded the corners become. Okay. So same results. Okay. Later, if I need to make this shorter, I can do that. And we can do this so easily. Same thing, we select the bottom two anchors, and then I can tap my up arrow key, and I can make it as short as I want or as long as I want. See, I can make it longer or shorter. Now, I'm going to select my ellipse tool. With no object selected, I come somewhere in the middle. And when I see this vertical purple or fuchsia color line vertically pointing to the middle of the shape from left to right, I make a click right there. Click, hold the mouse, press and hold the Alt key and drag it out like this. Something like this. This step is very important because when I started dragging to the right, notice how the left grew or widened simultaneously as the right did, the right side. I'm gonna release the mouse right there. Right, why is this important? Because we want to create symmetry. See, the distance from this edge of the oval to the edge of the of this object should be the same as the distance from this edge of the oval to this line over here. Okay, that is important for the next steps. Okay, so now we're going to select the two objects. Out of the two objects, we're going to create one object by going to the Pathfinder panel, and we're going to click on this button. It's called Unite. See? One object. Very well. Now, we're going to select a portion of the corner right here. I am going to do this with the rectangle tool. Look, I'm going to create my rectangle without any fill from the beginning. Okay, right? The stroke is fine, black. So I'm gonna make a rectangle here. If it's not done in the first step, it's okay. We can modify, afterwards. Right. So I'm gonna make a rectangle about like that. I'm interested mainly in this shape right here. Look. This shape and this shape. All right, so now I'm gonna select the two objects, this one and the main one, together like this. Remember to select objects as long as the black arrow or pointer passes over the object that we want to select, and that's enough. See, the arrow passed over the small rectangle, and right now it's on the other object here. So when I release the mouse here, we're going to have the two objects selected. Okay. All right. So now in the same Pathfinder panel, we're going to click on this button. This is called divide. Okay. Divide. What's going to do, this shape is going to be divided into two. This one division and this main one is another division. All right. After divide, press the Control, the Shift key, and the G key. That action is called Ungroup. You can also find Ungroup up here in the Object menu, going down to, well, right now because the object is already, or the objects or the group is already ungrouped, I don't see the option. Well, right there, ungroup. Okay, so now this outer section is not good anymore. You really don't need to move it out. You can just click it and delete it. Okay? I'm just moving it out so you can see what happened. Okay, so click it, look, and delete it. All right, so now this remaining section, we're gonna fill with black. So we go to the fill button here in these swatches. Remember, all these colors are called swatches, and this is the swatches panel in the control panel. Swatches panel inside of the control panel. So I'm gonna click on this color, and that made it black. Okay. Remember, this should be done in these specific steps. You don't want to come back in and modify it. You don't want to make it shorter. You don't want to make it narrower, because we don't want these gaps right there. We want it to be exactly the way it is. If you need to redo it, well, it's better that you redo it than try to fix it. All right, so now in here we're going to create a circle. So for that we select the ellipse tool. Remember that the ellipse tool makes ovals like so, and it can also make circles. Same tool. You click, you hold, and you drag, pressing the Shift key. It is important that you press the Shift key to ensure that the object is going to be rounded, like a perfect circle. So I'm going to release the mouse right there, and then I'm going to release the Shift key. Now I'm going to paint or color the fill with this red, or it could be this one too, whichever one you like. All right, so the idea here with these two objects is to create that circle, which is the caution sign or stop sign of the vehicle. Okay, so we need to have it as much as centered inside of this black area as possible. Right? Suppose that this is a little too big or too small, and you want to resize it down or up. You go to any corner, right there. You click, you hold, and then you drag inwardly to make it smaller, holding down the Shift key. Okay, right there. Now, let's say that we want to center this object with reference to the other object, but we're going to let the computer do it, or the program rather. I'm going to click on this object here at the top to delete them because they are just in the way. So I'm going to make them a key like this, clicking over here, dragging it down a little, and then dragging it to the right to cover the two objects, the two ovals. Now I want to press the delete key or the backspace key, whichever one will do. All right, so now I want to center the light, the red light. Okay, I click on the first object, whichever one. It could be the black area first or the red light second. Whichever sequence you like is fine. I clicked on the red one. I'm gonna press the Shift key, and then I'm gonna click on the black one. Because the black area, it's crucial that it doesn't move from there. I'm gonna make a click at last on this one. See how now the black area displays this darker blue border. That's an indication that the black object is gonna remain wherever it's at. The red one is gonna be subjected to the black one position. All right, so for this, I open my Align panel in the window menu. Go to Align. Remember that these panels are in alphabetical order. So click on Align, and the panel is right here. The only thing that you need to make sure is that the option Align to Artboard is not selected. Okay, we need to align to selection is better. Okay, so now we need to click on two buttons here. One that aligns the object horizontally, in other words, from left to right. We click on this. You're gonna see the red circle move a little. Oh, but it looks like the two moved. Let me go back and do it again. All right, I'm gonna click on this one first. Pressing the Shift key, I'm gonna click on the black one. At last, I'm gonna click on the black one again. See this dark blue line? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. It's a thicker blue line. And then I'm gonna click on this button. There you go. And then I'm gonna click on this one. This one is probably gonna move the circle a little higher. I think it's a little too much. So this, I can just move it down manually. So I need to click somewhere outside. Click on the red light and then just drag it down a little. See, it is centered exactly because of this ridge here. Because to align it center from top to bottom is like a line over here. In other words, it's aligning it from here to here. not from here to here, not to here. Okay, so the up and down, we need to do it more or less manually. Okay, I think right there is pretty good. All right, so now we're going to create a mirror image of these two objects. So we're going to select them by clicking on one and then clicking on the other one, and then we're going to group them. Okay, grouping object is necessary when you want to be displacing the objects, anywhere, because you might end up just dragging one. See? So better to group them. So select them, click on one, press the Shift key, and click on the other one, and then you press Control key and the G key. Now, whichever of the objects you click, you can drag them out like this, and they all go together. In a group can be more than two objects. Like this, there's only two objects. There can be as many objects as necessary. All right, so now we're gonna create a mirror image. In other words, it's the same image, only what's on the left is gonna go to the right. What's on the right is gonna go to the left. All right, we go to the Tools panel, and then we click on this tool. We need to look for the Reflect tool right here. Okay, probably you're gonna see the tool that's called Rotate tool. See, it's like a half circle with an arrow at the end, like that. So you're gonna click, you hold, and then you click on Reflect tool. Reflect tool. In other programs similar to Illustrator, this tool is called Mirror. It's kind of like make more sense, but whichever way you wanna perceive it, same thing. All right, so double click on the tool. We have the dialog box. We wanna make a vertical reflection. Okay? So right here it tells you that this triangle, when proceeding with the step, the ones on the left is going to go to the right, the one on the right is going to go to the left. But I need to make a duplicate of this object. If I don't click on copy, the selected object is going to flip. Okay, I don't want to do that. I want to make a copy. Okay? Click on copy, and there we have it. Okay, now we're going to align this object to go and sit over here. Right? So for that, we select the object, press and hold the Shift key, and then click on this other object. Lastly, we're gonna click on this object. Remember the same thing that's with the red light by itself when we aligned it with the black background. We click on this object so that this group is going to be subjected to the position of this other object. In other words, only this one is going to move. This one at the bottom, this big one, is going to stay where it's at. All right, so for that we go again back to the Align panel, and we're going to click on this button, Horizontal Align Right. Right, so I'm going to click right there, and there we have it. See, this is why it was so important to do the first steps cautiously, because otherwise it would not fit in here the way it did. All right, so now I'm gonna zoom out a little to see what's going on. I'm pressing the Alt key and then clicking. All right. If you haven't guessed what we're building, I'm gonna give you a hint. Well, you don't need a hint. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. It's a school bus. All right, so right here we're gonna create what's called the escape hatch. escape hatch. So if the bus is burning inside or something, an accident, people can come out of here, through here. All right, so for this, we're gonna use we're gonna use the regular rectangle tool. We're gonna find the center of this object when we see a vertical purple line coming up right there. See the vertical purple line in the middle? That means that when I click right there and I press the Alt key and I'm dragging outwardly like this, from the click to the right is the same distance from the click to the left. So I'm gonna release the mouse about right there. Okay, we don't wanna make this too tall. I think right there is fine. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna select my zoom tool, which I can access by pressing the Z key. Okay, the Z as in zebra, or you can click here. All right, I'm gonna click, and then I'm gonna select. In fact, I don't think I need to select anything, or maybe I do. I need this black arrow or the selection tool. Since I want the four corners rounded, well, in fact, the top ones are the ones that are necessary, because the ones at the bottom are going to be hiding. All right, look, I'm gonna click on any of these corner widgets. We already established that that's what it's called. Now see how it's becoming rounded. Remember that the more I drag inwardly, the more rounded it becomes. All right, very well. So now I'm going to fill this object with this. It's a lighter orange. All right, this is the main shape color. So I'm gonna fill it with this color right there. Now I want to send this object behind. Okay, behind. So I can go to the object menu and then go to arranged, object menu, arrange, and then go here where it says send to back. Okay. We can also do this. Let me press Ctrl Z to show you the other method, more practical. Okay, select the object, hold down the Control key, and to the right of the P key, there is a key that's called the bracket key. In fact, it's called the opening bracket key, or maybe you can call it the left bracket key. To the right of the left bracket key, we have the closing bracket key or the right bracket key. Okay, so we want to send this object behind. So we hold down the Control key and the Shift key, and then we tap the left bracket key. Okay? It went all the way to the back. Now let's say that we want to bring it in front of the other object. Same thing, we do Control Shift, and this time we're going to tap the right bracket key. Okay? So I'm going to send it back because that's where we want it. Control Shift and the left bracket key. All right, so now I'm going to move these panels out a little, like so. Move this one too. And the tools panel, I'm going to just move it somewhere there. All right, so now I'm going to press my Control key and the 0 key to zoom out. All right, so now I want to press my space bar to center this a little. I'm gonna zoom in a little. Right now we're gonna select the rectangle tool, okay? And we're gonna make a rectangle more or less, a little away from the edge, the left edge. And we're gonna click, hold, and drag it out like that. More or less in the middle, okay? All right, so now we're going to fill this object with some light gray color, or lighter than that. Try to emulate the color of glass, okay? All right, so let me make it a little taller by going here, just a little bit. All right, maybe I want to raise it up all together. I'm tapping the top arrow key, but like that is fine. All right, so now I want to create a duplicate of this same shape. So I press the Alt key, click on the object, and then press the Shift key and drag it out. See, the Alt key is allowing me to make a duplicate, and the Shift key along with the Alt key allows me to displace the duplicate in a perfect straight line with reference to the original on the left. So I want to establish a gap about like that between the two objects, and I think it's fine. I'm going to move it a little more to my right, and I think that's fine. I'm going to release the mouse. Now notice, I want to have the same distance here on the left as over here. Right now the two distances are not equal, right? This one in the middle, it's all right. Now I'm going to select the two objects, one first, and then with the Shift key, I'm going to click on the other object. Sorry. All right, so after selected, I'm going to group them, Control G. Okay, now I'm going to select the object, and I want to make this space on the right as close as possible to this one. This one in the middle, it doesn't matter. It could be, a little wider than the one on the right or on the left, or a little narrower. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to move this out a little bit. See, I'm going to widen it. Maybe about right there is fine. Okay. So now there is no assurance that this distance is symmetrical with this distance. Okay. Remember, the one in the middle doesn't really matter. All right, so I'm going to click on the group like this. Okay. And then like that, I selected the two rectangles, okay, because they are grouped. Right, so I want to center it with reference to this other one. Okay. I click on the group, press the Shift key, and click on this object. Now I want to click on the object again. See how now displays this thicker blue line, indicating that the rectangles in the middle are going to align with reference to this other one. In other words, again, this group is going to move and it's going to center with this one. I go back to my Align panel and simply I'm going to click on this button. Okay. It looked like it didn't need any alignment, but I wanted to make sure no matter what. All right, so that's pretty good right there. Next thing, we're going to create another rectangle, and we want it to be centered with reference to this object. Okay, so we're going to create the rectangle. We're going to do it the regular rectangle, and I want to make sure that it's centered, right? So I'm looking for the vertical line. Sometimes I don't rely on the smart guides that like we've been relying, because sometimes the smart guides get confused with, or rather detect other objects to be considered for alignment. So I better do it like this. Look, I'm gonna, because this rectangle needs to be a little wider than this object. So I'm gonna just click over here. All right, click, hold the mouse, and I'm gonna make it like that. Okay, now I only want the two top corners to be rounded. So I'm gonna click on, with this tool, it's called the direct selection tool. I'm gonna click on the corner anchor, it's called anchor. And then with the shift key, I'm gonna select this other one, like that. Notice that in the demonstration that I did originally to round the corners, I cannot do a marquee on this one because this object is in the way. Unless I lock it, I could. But right now it's fine. See, we select them one by one and don't select the ones at the bottom. See, click on this one on the very corner. There's a little white square. Just click it, press the shift key, and then you're gonna click on the other one. The ones that are in blue are the ones that are gonna round, and the ones here at the bottom are gonna stay the way they are, right? So I'm going in here. Remember the corner widget, click, hold it, and then we're gonna make it rounded. Yeah, something like that. Beautiful. All right, so maybe I wanna make it a little shorter and just go here and then just a little shorter, about like that. Wonderful. All right, so we're gonna end this video here. We're gonna continue on the part 2 of this video. It's called Shapes 2, or Lesson 2, Shapes, Part 1.